Hi guys, today is February 9th, 2021, and I'm going to read on what we need to know about raising our vibration or our energy frequency, some people call it. It's about growth and self-awareness and mindfulness and a shift. For people that are not familiar with that language of frequency and vibration, or if it sounds too woo-woo to you, it's really not. So as I was meditating today, it came to me, because I was just thinking that very thought. Is it too woo-woo, that word, using this? And I thought, well, that's just silly. And it came to me, no, you do a reading on what people need to know about this issue of raising their vibration or their frequency. What do we need to know? And let the universe inform us. I felt like there's stuff we need to know about it. So it's kind of a point of why we're here. Now I'll start off with this little deck. The Adorabyssal Oracle. It's a little one. Etsy, as usual. You can't really see too much, but okay, that's what that looks like. Okay, it does not say. So, let me just try to dial in a little bit. I've cleared my space, my Palo Santo, and I have called in my spirit guides, helpers, mentors, the Creator, and I'm asking for all of us and for the universe, the Creator, to share with us what we need to know about this big time. It is a new era. It is not woo-woo. We are going through a very big transition. I think most of us can look at our lives and that of other people we know and say, yeah, it's definitely happening. And it's such a big change from what it's ever been that I don't think we can kind of fully comprehend it right now about we understand it, but it's kind of hard to grasp just how pivotal this will be. So, gonna dial in on that. What does the Creator, universe, want to share with us about human beings and our evolution of our awareness and our consciousness? And our consciousness it's also just our whole being. So let me try with this deck first and see how it goes. I have plenty of others by my side, too many. Okay. Universe, Creator, what would you be so kind as to share with us that we need to know about human evolution and our growth, our transformation, our raising a frequency, vibration. People use a lot of different terms for it, but Let's just see what Spirit feels that we need to understand. And I ask for my mentors and Spirit to please help me to read accurately and clearly. All right, let's see. Diversity. Okay. Power. So the first two cards are diversity and power, paired together. Endure. This is ghost. It's making a little smiley face. Can you see that? This deck is already... I'm already loving it. And trickery. Endure trickery. Well, we certainly have done that. We've endured that shadow side. The trickster. Somehow, I think we're tracking. Diversity is power, basically. But there's more to that, and I'll go into what I'm channeling, what I'm getting. And I definitely think these two cards speak to what we have been enduring for such a long period. Even before any of us were born, for just generations, the earth, I feel, has been under this oppression. It's been an oppressive... I mean, the earth is a place of duality, firstly. It's a world of duality. So, but we have had more of the dark side, too much of the trickery, the lies, the deceit. And as many people have noticed, and as many of us readers have been trying to tell others in our videos, is that it's a new era, and it's one of accountability. Now, having said that, we still have some broken stuff in place. And so we will come up against other issues that we need to fix. I think especially where sentencing people of that upper bracket of power and fame and wealth are concerned, because they are the ones that have really abused that position of privilege for so long. There is something about privilege being checked. Okay. Diversity and power. I'm feeling the message is we need to realize that we are all interconnected. One time I had a dream, and I get dreams every so often that I like to work with my dreams, but there's certain ones where I'm being taken places, other worlds, other places I find myself. And so when I get these dreams and I get these messages that I see a confirmation, and that is that we are moving toward a time where we realize we're all interconnected and as one. And in the dream, all I know is I looked up, I could see, it was odd. It's like I could see the earth, and then I could see a bunch of different ethnic background people, and floating, happy, but they were all holding hands. And they were in this ring around the earth. And I thought, oh, and the minute I thought, I'd like to join with them. That looks like fun. And so, just with that intention, I floated up, and other people, I held up my hands, and they took my hands, and when I grabbed their hands, the conduit of the energy that collectively, and that circuit of us, hit me like, like a surge of complete washover of understanding. And I began to say in the dream, as we were linked in arm and hand in hand, we are all one. We are all one. And I could feel it. I could feel how we were all one. So even though you might think somebody looks really different from you, we're all connected. It goes back to that message. And so we will deal with issues of diversity and power and the inequity between the haves and the have-nots. We are to work on that. Ghost, trickery, is an illusion. We need to work on the truth. We need to work on not being so susceptible as a world to have corrupt people get their way into power. And that's a systemic issue. Pardon me. So that, darn. I told you guys, hang on a minute. Sorry. I have taken the antihistamines. So we have to really put systemic corruption in place. And that's what we're going to be working on. No small task. Also, we need to work on our have and have-nots. We need to work together to realize that we are all one by helping each other and acknowledging that Black Lives Matter and minorities that are not being treated with the same equality that white people have in this world it's over the world. And so this needs to change. People need to realize that in diversity there is power, and that also we are enduring and have endured a dark time of having corruption in power and how oppressive it's been. And now we're being called to become as one so that we can overcome the inequity in the world, where we have this really powerful group of people, that are running things that have no accountability. Excuse me. Mercury retrograde is really making filming much more difficult than I would like. So we're looking at things that we need to work on in order to level up, to evolve as beings. And this is one we're dealing with, is that of inequity among those of us of diversity, towards diversity. It's not equal. There's systemic issues that need to be met straight on. It's saying no lies, no more trickery, no more shady stuff. Need to have more honesty in the world, and that includes especially in positions of power, that positions of power have abused in humanity their seat for their privilege for too long, and at the cost of other people, of the environment. And so the inequity is with them, not with us. They are hoarding and hurting the rest of us. And there's no reason that it doesn't mean that you can't be wealthy or whatever, have a good life. But it is about where we're so used to this, we don't realize the difference it would make that in having a world that is more equal. And again, it's saying it would be better for everyone, not just for one select group that's asking for this. It makes it better for all, because we're all interconnected. So we need to, and we'll be working on, systematic deceit and systematic corruption. Consume. Part of it is our headset. Expanse. Envy. Leviathan. Lies. Do you notice something? I do. And that is that all the negative, the duality, we've got more, well, this is a little brighter, despite the consume. I think its part in this message is more of a brighter part. But this side is all about endure a long period of deceit and trickery and dishonesty, lies. It even comes up with an envy. So we have this dirty shadow side. Once again, it's saying that you guys have got to, that we have to, within ourselves, we can't do it for other people. We can assist them in their journey as support, but each one of us individually has to work on ourselves. That's how we make the world also collectively a better place. But we have to look at these the shadow side, and stop ignoring it, sweeping it under the rug, accepting it as acceptable. No, these are things that we're supposed to work on. We're not supposed to remain broken. So we're pushing out an era and with this ghost and endure. It's been eras, eons, whatever, of this dark energy here. So you're called to realize that you are all one, and that within diversity is power, and therein is your power, is in each other, and valuing each other as well as yourself. And it's important that people, I think, were consumed, falls under diversity, consume, frankly, and be exposed to more diversity. If you live in an area, and let's say you can't travel, maybe you're disabled like myself, or whatever, poor, broke, that's, hey, I relate. In debt? Yes, I know that. If you got an internet connection, expand your horizons. Watch films, read books about other places, other cultures, with a more open mind. And that doesn't necessarily mean places outside of your own country. more than likely, people that are within your environment, get to know them, get to know their culture, get to know their way. Don't be so afraid. Learn about it. Consume more diverse information. Consume more diverse, positive food for thought. Be mindful, again, of what you feed yourself. And be mindful of making sure there is variety and that you're not closed-minded. Check yourself. Again, because that goes right along with expanse and diversity. Your power, your vibration will expand. It depends on what you're feeding yourself, what you're feeding your mind, and what that goes with negative self-talk. That's really a killer. Low self-esteem will deepen depression. They go right hand in hand. But if you work on your esteem, it will help with your depression. Because the pills only go so far. It is a lot to work on, but we have to do it. It's a dirty, long, old, dusty time here of dirt and filth that is of deceit and corruption that we have got to throw off our mantle and embrace diversity, each other, and the diversity within ourselves, who we are, and be mindful of what we consume. Yeah, this part of being in this world is consuming, but is about also being mindful about what you consume. Because it affects how you think, your perspective, nature, nurture, it all matters. So to raise your vibration, you've got to learn some self-love, how to take care of yourself, not talk down about yourself, be more real. Because as a friend of mine online said, your inner critic is a jerk. Omen. Omen falls under diversity, consume, okay? And then we get duty, and that falls under power, expanse. That's what we're called to do, is to be more open to each other, more understanding, and not stupid. And stupid also about ourselves, so that we would look at someone else and think, I feel insecure, I'm going to project my crap on them. Don't want to do that. Wisdom is also, sorry, that was my mom. Gotta stop when it's your mom. And she brought me gifts. She brought me Reese's peanut butter cups and scrunchies, so we're good. Now, back to this reading. So we get wisdom. Omen, duty, wisdom, and inevitability. Okay, let's look at these. There we go. Okay. Is that still in frame? Yeah. All right. Okay. Now, let's really dive in here. See, when I get a flow, it's like, who else is going to come in? All right. So, the universe is asking us, and we're seeing it already, to recognize and honor diversity and respect it, and to help others, help each other, because you're helping yourself at the end of the day. If you can't be more flexible enough to think that, hey, it's cool to help someone else, but that kind of mind is going to have to change, because it falls under this dark stuff, that with the shadow aspect that I've been picking up on here, that the universe is saying, this is what you guys need to work on to push up, level up. So we need to be mindful and more broad in what we expose ourselves to with diversity, but we need to be mindful, is this helpful or a meaningful thing for me to be consuming, or is this going to put me in a negative state of mind, or cause me to neglect my well-being, or I'll get so focused or on that, or obsessed. We have to basically do temperance. We have to raise certain things and drop other things, and bring, that's what we're doing, is we're how we elevate our vibration, our energy. And so be mindful, as I was saying, of what it is that you are consuming. Most definitely, we're being asked to broaden our horizons and broaden our minds, and not preconceive, what something is already. Allow it to present itself. You might have a notion, it's kind of hard not to some degree, but just set it aside for a moment. Allow things to present themselves to you. See with a fresh pair of eyes. Again, I'm getting, it's all about perspective. I keep getting that. Now, omen and duty. I want to look at their duty. I think it is pretty clear that it is part of humanity's plan to evolve. It is part of, it's not a maybe or an option. This is going on. So let's see, omen and duty. Forgive me for a moment. Okay. Well, omen is positivity. And the element is fire. This side is more positive. This is more shadow. A little bit. Oh, I'm getting more now. Okay. And so as we work on our shadow, we'll gain wisdom. That's where you gain wisdom, folks, is by working on your shadow and dealing with things that you don't want to, facing fears rather than avoiding them, looking at them. Take the mask off of it. At our own, we're called to be more observant, more mindful of our own behavior and that of others. And then we can't always change how somebody else is acting, but sometimes our response is all we can do. And so that's what we have to work on. And many times when we change our response, if somebody sees that they are not reeling you in, then they tend to not know necessarily what to do with that sometimes. And it might help to cool things down, or to change the energy so that somebody's not dragging you into arguments or wasting your energy, spinning your wheels. And it's just omen, it's interesting that it has the aspect of fire and energy, and we're talking about vibration. And I do think of fire really as vibration. So that makes me feel like we are definitely hitting on the aspect of that energy. In order to raise that energy, it's saying, here's the energy, okay? You have to feed it. You have to feed yourself diverse, like I said, it's diversity to raise your energy. So you have to be flexible. Okay? And you have to be mindful. You have to mind boundaries and be all those things. It's not terribly hard, that bit. But the mindful thing, remembering to listen to yourself or to catch yourself when you start telling yourself, I'm no good, or I'm always going to be a failure, or you beat yourself down. And if you have a tendency to just snap and say those kinds of things at people, then you need to clean that up too. We need to change. And all of us do. We all have something. And it's saying there's where you get your wisdom, is by confronting your shadow. These things you've long ignored that have, to me, I feel like I'm being shown this old dirty rug and this pile of, like in a house of ruin, just, that's what we got on top of the earth. We've got to clean that off. And I feel like that's when we raise our vibration. That's what we're doing. We're clearing away that debris, that old dirty baggage that's been in power and been sitting on us and oppressing us. And it's also saying, this energy cannot remain. Sooner or later, inevitability, it has to be confronted. The trickery lies, the systemic problem, because it is not like with the tower. If something isn't built upon that which truly endures, that which is for real, it will just simply crumble. So you have to make sure you're creating and living an authentic life and being authentic to yourself and to other people. Because once you're able to be authentic with yourself, you'll be authentic with other people. So it is also interesting to note that we will gain more wisdom when we look at this future line here. We're still doing the work here, okay? And we're going to pop up onto that next level here where we kind of consume more diversified information and awareness. And so our awareness increases and we can deal with all these calling a lie, and telling the green-eyed monster, calling to the emperor has no clothes, and, holding people accountable, including ourselves and each other. Then we raise our energy. Let's check out duty. I love this deck. Who knew I was going to love this deck so much? Okay. Un momento. I do wish they would have numbered it, but let's see. Leviathan. Yeah, that's all. See, there's so much negative here. That is just astounding. Here's the shift. We're cleaning out our closet of eons of oppressive bullshit. Yeah. And where we got to get rid of the lies that we've been told, the illusions of how the world is that we've been fed, and see it for how it really is. And that is by getting to know each other and being open and allowing an experience to present itself to you and allowing that, to happen, to be vulnerable in that way and not just have our walls up. I mean, you definitely want to always have your wall to some degree, but you gotta you don't want to be completely walled off. So there's an opening up, and I think once that shift comes, you just naturally, with duty, grow into a more responsible world. I just feel like being true stewards of the earth, and looking out for each other. And it sounds like, you may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. Yeah, it's possible, and it is indeed not only possible, but it is what we are doing. We are doing it right now. We're just beginning now to push the rest of a lot of hot button issues and a lot of stuff that has remained suppressed. It's got to come out, full exposure, you guys, again, and that's how we deal with it. It's like if you have a tumor inside that needs to be removed, you may not know until you go and have a scan. Well, we have to become more aware. We have to know and look at things honestly and not turn away, and even if it hurts us, even if it makes us sad. And that's what we've had to do with Trump. Great big lesson for us. And I think it's really made many more of us around the world even more empathetic. And that's a good thing. Now, we just have to deal with some of these cockleburs that are like Josh Hawley and these kinds of Putin and other people like that. And you're going to see, we're living in an extremely exciting time. And we're going to be doing that shadow work that we need to do. That's emotional. It can be difficult, but we will be there for each other. So, anyhow, that's part of what my upcoming membership is going to work. One of the levels will be about working on. But I'm not going to go into that yet. That is coming very, very soon, you guys. A video announcing memberships. So I feel, just to recap, that this is about exposing ourselves to a broader variety of considerations about what can be. And knowing what that is against something that is not simply not factual. It's simply, we have to reject lies, we have to reject envy, we have to accept the wisdom that comes from looking at the darkness and looking in the darkness and clearing it out like an old dirty room. And that's what we're doing. And we'll do it together. The more of us that come together and stick up for minorities and diversity, and realizing that we are all one, and hey, when you do that to somebody else, that affects everybody. You know, it's like pooing on the dinner table. You just don't do it. And our energy will become more varied. Our energy will grow as we raise our vibration in different ways of wisdom. And I get it's inevitable, which is cool. It's like, all right, I'm down. I'm down for that. Yeah. Now, misfortune, control. We'll have to learn, we'll be learning about what happens when there is a tyrant, or when you have someone that's, and we know it, but we'll see more of that. The misery has got to be put out of its misery. This tyranny in the world, how much misfortune it causes, and how it simply won't be tolerated on a global level. Malice, invulnerability, misfortune, malice, control. Okay, and then we need to realize that the people that want this tight, tyrannical kind of a control, and that they're showing us, they operate in malice, we know that this is their way of trying to be bulletproof, of trying to keep power. Okay, we know that, but what do they want? Distraction, yes, and to distract, virulence, and to spread disinformation, like Putin does, and North Korea and China. Kate Shi. This is a Kiachi. This is Gaelic. Theft. I think that's anyway. Yes. So they can steal. They distract you so that they can steal. We know this. Companionship. Theft and companionship. Ruin. We get longevity. Well, it's really about deciding, do you like destruction or do you want longevity? Do you want what is truly of substance? And it will be up to people to decide. I see that there's an issue for people that want to retain and hold on to their addiction to hate and fear. And ruin and all this darkness, this energy, as you know, evil, once it takes and has possession, does not like to give it up. And it puts up a heck of a fight. And it's had a lot of control over the earth for a very long time because human beings have been way too given to treat each other horribly and to use religion and other things as excuses to do so. And that's all lies. People need to wake up. Anything that makes you look down at somebody else just because they're different than you is stupid. Struggle. So yeah. So this energy, of who is going to retain hold, the good energy is, if you will, is rising up to meet this shadow, this oppressive monster, David and Goliath. And we have to band together to deal with that dark cloud that's been over us. And it won't, it's, we're not foolish. We know that it is not going to go quietly. It's not going to just, it's going to be sneaky, it's going to try us, it's going to test us, but we have to just be vigilant. Story. Chaos. Chaos is part of the story. Out of chaos will come order. And to know the difference between the energies. I feel like the energies become even more contrasted as people work on themselves and level up. You're going to see, I think, a greater, what do you call that? Contrast happening, where the people that want to really hang on to that negative stuff, wow, they're going to do that. And then there are going to be people that are just really moving and growing and having a much better life experience, no matter their situation, because of their mentality and their spirit. Mystery. It's also the Kraken. Cruelty. Knowledge. Guidance. Then the mysteries. I think not under the lack of understanding about why people are so cruel, how they can do these things, how they can totally cut off their feelings. There's going to be greater understanding and looking at the narcissistic brain and I think personality, the types of people that want to hold on to fear and hold on to the poison, if you will, that they thrive off of. Some people thrive off of chaos. And I just see that we're going to have greater understanding. We'll be looking at these people, and I think studying them and seeing the difference will be very clear. But we're going to understand them better. Why they cling to this negativity. So I don't know that we can help them, because there is knowledge and guidance to deal with it. And this to me is like, who was cruel to you when you were a kid? Who didn't love you enough, really? And catching people before they become Donald Trump or Vladimir Putin or name any other tyrant. Glamour. Who doesn't like that card? Swiftness. Rebirth. Solitude. I think then people will start to really finally start to feel better about themselves. More transformation will come through solitude. So they'll have to they may want to go off and think about it a bit. Some very swift change will happen when we start addressing, making society more kind and making society more aware of working on themselves so that it kind of ripples out. And the last two cards, three cards that I got are commitment, constrained, duality. So I just feel that depending upon where you put your energy is going to matter. Because if you want to throw off the constraints in your life, you have to deal with your shadow side and love yourself enough to do that. Because that's part of yourself, is the hurt part of you, the wounded part of you. And we often treat it as though we would, as we would not anyone else. Like, one thing that helped me was think of myself as a little girl, and as a mom, that got me. And it was like, okay, now you be mean to you. And I was like, I won't dare do that. And that really changed. That is helping me to change my negative self-talk. So we need to set ourselves free so we can have a more healthy world and realize the constraints. We'll be able to help some. I also think somehow there's some things I can't see yet, but that is what matters with regard to evolving and making our world a better place, is working on our own shadow, each and every one of us, and supporting each other through that process. Being more open-minded, not so reactionary. Taking care of ourselves and trying to be more mindful and not be so mean to ourselves. And again, to remember, if you start that negative self-talk towards yourself, when you make a mistake, you shrink yourself down to a little toddler and start yelling at yourself as that age. And say the same thing. You won't want to do it unless you're a real heartless creep. So that is what I have to share, and I thank the universe. I thank the Creator and Spirit very much for that message. And I thank you for listening. And it'll be interesting to see what kind of Mercury retrograde edit I will have coming up. And I love you guys, and I will talk to you soon. Expect a video very quickly in the near future regarding memberships and this kind of work that I just did today. This is just a sample, but where we would be working on it weekly in a membership. Okay? So anyway, please like and subscribe. See you in the next video.